Hi there, my name is Mandy Clare and I am a local councillor in Cheshire, Western Chester. The ward that I represent is called the Dean ward, and that's in Winsford. And I've also been appointed as the Poverty and Inequality Champion by the leader of the council, Councillor Louise Gittins. And today I took a paper I presented on a paper which we put together in response to my ask last month at Cabinet that we declare a poverty and inequality emergency within Cheshire, Western Chester. This is obviously partly in relation to the impact of COVID on people's incomes and job security, and the security of people's businesses. But in actual fact, I was appointed as the Leaders Champion prior to COVID and was planning to declare or suggest that we declare a poverty and inequality emergency before COVID happened. Just in response to the number of people that are in work poverty, and the increases in child poverty and the cuts to benefits, which have also obviously had a massive impact. So it's not just about wages and what people are being paid, but it's also about when people aren't paid a livable wage and they have to top that wage up with further benefits. Those benefits have in turn been cut into over the period of austerity, and that's had a huge impact. So this was something that was in the pipeline in any case, and it builds on something that we had already done within Cheshire, Western Chester, which was to launch the 2 poverty truth commissions. Thank you for that. Just been brought a cup of tea. So it builds on some fantastic foundations within the Poverty Truth Commissions, and I will be working closely with that existing staff team and also excitingly with the community inspirers. And these are people who are from within the community who have lived experience of being on a low income day to day, who are able to bring that lived experience to help us to shape our response, our policies, and that's going to be absolutely invaluable as we take this work forward. It's always been the intention, I think, with the Poverty and Truth Commission to continue that work and to actually broaden it out so that it covers a wider scope. Poverty and inequality are relevant to more or less every strand of work that we do within the council. So I can just outline for you now what the specifics of it are. Why am I excited about this? And, why is this a good thing really for the borough? So what I've asked for us to include within this is to do a deeper dive into the data. So we need to have a look at, in much more detail, at how poverty and inequality have been affected by COVID, and how being on a low income actually has been an additional challenge to people in facing this situation, and will be ongoing. So I want us to look more closely at that, at the things like how easy people have found it to access education and healthcare, and how that is going forward, how people are handling debts, how transport is organised, what the realistic availability of decent jobs is for people. This is all stuff that we've been involved in previously, but the impact of COVID on people, has been I think double the actual death rate for people on low incomes who've contracted COVID. And so and also people who are in low income jobs and are in insecure work are obviously going to be more at risk of potentially losing their homes, and we don't want people to feel alone with this. We need to make sure that there's adequate support for people, and we need to reprioritise as appropriate as a council to take account of this. I really want it to be brought to the foreground of all of the post-COVID planning that we're doing. But if there is a situation where we have inadequate funding, I want us to be able to work across boundaries with other council areas along the same principles. So I want other councils to also join us in declaring a poverty emergency, so that we can speak as one voice really, and really get alongside those within our borough and other boroughs who are facing these difficulties, so that we can identify them through better data and work together to solve them, to lobby on them if necessary. So yes, it was about working collectively, which obviously we already did within the Poverty Truth Commission. But we can broaden that net, so we can work more closely with unions, for example. We can work more closely with the university, and we've already built links there. The University of Cheshire actually carried out the evaluation of the last Poverty Truth Commission and of other important poverty-related projects in the borough. So we can kind of deepen that relationship, which I think will be a real positive, to try and learn more about this issue. It's about destigmatising low income as well, because stigma only causes more damage to struggling households, and definitely to young people who might be within a school environment where they feel inhibited to reveal the situation that they're living with. They may have friends who can talk freely about the clothes they've bought, the holidays they've been on. They may in various different ways unintentionally be made to feel that it might be somehow their fault if they're living within a low income household. And that is definitely something that I'd like us to do a lot more to tackle within this initiative. An absolutely amazing start has already been made on this with the creation of the film How We Live within the Poverty Truth Commission, where young people were able to make a film, write a script and tell a story from their own perspective, on their own terms and on their own territory. And it's a really, really powerful film. So we're hoping to use that in training sessions as well for our members, for our counsellors, and also for various different teams. We want it to be consultative, and we want to have good communication within the borough on this. So people who are on low incomes, usually it's a stressful situation to be in. The last thing that might be on your mind is having a voice in local democracy. Nevertheless, local democracy has an impact on how we live our lives and what support is available to us. And it's possible, as we've shown with the Poverty Truth Commission, to make real concrete changes in policy just through facilitating that and making sure that we're open to hearing those voices. So we want to broaden that out, and we're hopefully going to be having a dedicated web presence around the issue of poverty in order to enable us to do that more effectively, and hopefully more of this kind of thing, not just me yattering on, but two-way conversations or 10-way, 20-way conversations with people who can enlighten us as to what's happening for them post-COVID, so that it isn't overlooked. And the detail is important. I also have asked that we get our own house in order, make sure that we are in all of this bearing in mind our own workforce, anyone who might be employed or by us or by a council company who might be on an insecure contract or low income. Their needs need to be taken into consideration as well when we're looking at all of this. So that's what I have proposed today. Happily, it's been unanimously agreed by Cabinet that we begin work on that along those lines, along those principles, and that we take that to the next full meeting of council and debate it, and hopefully get an official poverty emergency declared. That's it for now. Any thoughts or comments or questions, please get in touch. I'm sorry it's been such a long video, but I just wanted to try and explain what it is that we're doing with this poverty emergency and why.